Phoenix, my God, one of the worst organizations in the NBA. Just god awful organization.
They're looking desperate, man. I ain't gonna lie.
And it's not even about it's not even about necessarily the trade itself. Yeah, sure, you got players and stuff like that, so you needed that. Man, I'm looking at their draft history, and Phoenix, there's like a good stretch to where like the only thing that they got for an extended period of time was Devin Booker out of that draft.
And then it was like what? Josh Jackson, Dragon Bender, and then they got DA.
They've had some hits and misses.
The guys that they went to the finals with that they drafted, that was a good bunch, but they traded them to get KD. You forgot about Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, those guys drafted by them, and they were fine.
I'm not necessarily talking about those guys. I'm talking about the guys that they got rewarded for being losers for, which would be those top or upper echelon picks. Even I think Devin Booker ended up being 13, but I'm not talking about the guys that they good smart moves trading to get
the lottery picks that didn't work out.
Mikal Bridges and all that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, and I'll say this because I've been making this argument on Twitter all day. I don't necessarily think that I'm in the belief if they had Luka instead of DA, they would have made it to the finals. I don't think that would have happened. It happened exactly the way that it needed to happen. It's a canon event, it happened. But man, y'all should have let him go a year ago and had better outcomes. 2 years ago and had better outcomes. When he got into a fight with Monty Williams on the bench, y'all should have been let him go. Like stuff like that is just again mismanagement of assets. You're looking like Philadelphia over there. Miami, Philly, Boston, all losers for different reasons. Pat Riley might be senile. I don't want to be that guy that gets on his case, but Tyler Hero must have some either dirt on them, or he really might be a hooper for real, and we just don't know. Like he might be White Jordan in the next couple of years, and we just don't know. Or in the next couple of years, we might find out that he's like Kyle Korver with like a fade. And then we should have been saying, yeah, he should trade him 2 years ago when you could have got Damian fucking Lillard and replaced Kyle Lowry's corpse at your point guard position. I don't know. Maybe.
With 75 ball handling.
Well,
like,
75 ball handling.
Well, they're saying that, what to call it? They're saying that the Blazers only wanted,
Kyle Korver with Ray-Bans on.
Okay, good.
I hate y'all.
With a Bugatti.
Y'all niggas childish.
They were saying that
hanging out with Tate. No, let me stop. Go ahead.
I'm gonna get my food. Bro. I got food to get.
Kyle Korver who drinks Hennessy. Oh, go ahead. I thought you were saying. All right, go ahead.
They were saying that the Blazers wanted Jimmy or Bam, and that's why I fell through. They wanted to trade Tyler Hero. They just wasn't willing to trade anything else other than Tyler Hero. They were saying Pat Riley didn't update the trade. Like, he never called him back to update the trade and add anything to it, but the Blazers wanted Bam or Jimmy, and they weren't willing to give that up. Tyler Hero, they were welcome to give Tyler Hero up.
Did y'all see the last tweet Bleacher Report just put up too?
No. What they say?
Let me pull it up just so I can get the wording right.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something right now though. What I'm about to do in 2024, I'm gonna make an NBA page. I'm gonna have some nice little graphics or pictures and stuff like that, and just start citing people that probably shouldn't be cited just for rumors and news and stuff like that. Who gonna check me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The tweet says Damian Lillard wanted to rescind his trade request if a deal couldn't be worked out with the Heat, but Blazers GM Joe Cronin allegedly responded that there was no coming back per Chris Haynes.
I don't care Hey, at this point, I ain't gonna lie. I really don't care no more. The trade has been done. All right. I don't want to hear no more trade rumors. I want to hear about how training camp is going. I want y'all to ball up. I ain't even trying to be funny. I'm dead ass too.
Y'all think Damian's gonna be like, I don't want to play here type shit throughout the whole season? Or is he gonna?
I don't know. He shouldn't. This is a situation where he can compete to win. I gotta see. Well, I'm not gonna say I gotta see what else Milwaukee's doing with the roster, but they gotta add a couple people. And I ain't gonna lie, who signed Kelly Oubre? Somebody just signed Kelly Oubre.
The Sixers.
The Sixers signed Kelly Oubre. They gotta do something in terms of perimeter defense because I don't know what they're unless Marjon Beauchamp or B-Champ is about to be this tremendous perimeter defender for them alongside Chris Middleton. They traded away their best perimeter guy on defense, and they got Dame Lillard back, who's tremendous offensively, yet to be seeing him play great defense. But can I ask y'all are really giving Phoenix an L in this situation?
It's to me, it's not about the situation. Again, I like to look at the totality of teams and all this reacting about the same shit that happens on a day-to-day basis. Everybody has the same reaction. But I always like to take a step back and look at how these teams have been managed. Maybe it's because I'm a Hawks fan, and maybe it's because the grand outlook of my sports favoritism for this basketball team has always been like looking at the missteps that made us get here today. They mismanaged DA. They did.
Fair.
And truly, what's been going on these past couple of seasons, like Biso said, it's just, hey, let's just get desperate. Let's just get desperate and hope that we get lucky. And now we have our eggs in this big basket. And so in about 2-3 years, I'm not gonna lie, they'll probably be screwed as hell, right? Like Bradley Beal will probably be not good or gone. Kevin Durant will probably be gone, maybe, because he's just old. And then they'll just be left with like these high bills, these high tax bills that they've been paying for the past couple of years, and their team won't be good. And if they don't want to ring out of this, it'll just be, hey, these were just super, super crazy desperate moves as opposed to like trying to build out a team. But it's been like that for the past couple of years. And it's because they could not build a team, right? So when they could not build a team, I'm talking about through the Dragon Bender years, the 3-point guard lineup, the 3 undersized guard lineups. Y'all remember them, the Josh Jackson and all that stuff. When they were like, we can't build a team. So let's do the flip of that and let's just buy a team to the craziest degree.
But it's different.
I get that. Still, I think when people go into and buy something, right, because they got a new owner. Well, they only recently got a new owner. They were still in the trajectory of buying a new team.
But I'm saying even the owner before that, I want to say it was a different, maybe not a different owner, but maybe the front office definitely is different from the years where we were in high school, whatever, and fresh out of high school, where they had 3-guard lineups, and then it was Devin Booker tanking. There was the tanking years, and Devin Booker putting up empty stats and all that. They just recently became a competitive team. And this isn't even one of those situations where it's like, okay, you were only competitive for like, I forgot who, like we were talking about the Pistons last pod, I want to say it was, but you were only competitive for 3 to 4 years out of 20. Other than that, you just been mismanaging assets. With them, I mean, the mid 2000s, late 2000s, they were good. In the mid 2010s or whatever, they sucked a little bit, had a couple years where they were at least fun to watch. Like those 3-guard lineup teams, obviously they weren't about to win nothing. But I mean, they weren't bottom feeders. They won some games. Then they were trash. Then they went to the finals. Like they drafted well. I want to say at a certain point in time, whenever they started drafting the Cam Johnsons, Mikal Bridges, Deandre Ayton, someone fact checked me. That might have been a different management group because there's no way you just go from drafting straight duds to now you're hitting on your picks and drafting reliable players that end up getting you to the finals. It was like if you look at their draft history, it's a stark difference between the players they were drafting when it was around the Devin Booker, Dragon Bender, Josh Jackson era, and then drafting the guys that was with them in the 2021 finals. And if I'm wrong, I'm just talking, but please check me.
It just feels like to me the 2021 run happened. They made it to the finals, almost won the thing. And then 2022, everything just felt like it was collapsing. They were able to get KD, and ever since then, it's just been a desperation of trying to get as much star power on the team as possible without much regard for depth. And now they're at a point where they're compensating and trying their hardest to get depth now that they realize it's a problem. When in reality, it's like the core of their team was built without like fit in mind at all. And it was just, who's the biggest star we can get right now? And we'll figure it out as we go, which I'm personally not a fan of. And I've been adamant on that with other teams as well.
I feel like this conversation is appropriate for a team that does this by the season. So they get Kevin Durant year 1. Then year 2, they get Bradley Beal. Then year 3, they're trying to get all the talent to replace them. Then sure, I'd probably be on their head. But considering this is all over the span of a season, an off season even, I can't get on their head and call it an L. They're literally showing you their hand. They're showing you their card, and they're all in on a championship. And if that comes off as desperate, they also have a very, very, very counter escape. They can literally say, okay, you know what? These guys just fucking flop. These guys just ain't them. They're not him. Katie, you're done. Beal, you're done. Book, you're probably staying. But and they can get the compensation back for these guys. Granted, it wouldn't be the equal compensation, not even close. Well, maybe in Beal's case, if Beal was disgruntled, it depends on how shit breaks down. But I don't hate this like I hated what the Lakers did or what the Nets did, because again, the Lakers were going down a pattern of 6 man of the year. Fuck it, then let's get Russ. That's stupid. But this is a 1 season thing where they're going all in on you know what? What if we just create like unstoppable offense? And it showed in teams that granted didn't win, like the 2018 Rockets, not even too long ago. But it's something that I'm necessarily not mad at. I think I have to see this play out for multiple seasons, and they continue doing this. Like if they go pack up Nasir Little, they pack up Bobo and other players for like another starter, I'm with y'all, because at that point it's like, all right, bro, now y'all feel willing to keep it a buck on the bench and trying to say we're gonna win a chip with the 5 and play 48 minutes. And at that point, all right, bro, it didn't work last year. Like, what are you doing? But
even real quick, just even with what you said though, I think the biggest parallel or the closest parallel would be the 2021 Nets with when they traded for James Harden. And I'm gonna be honest, even back then, I was actually on the unpopular side of saying like, yo, I didn't really fuck with that move because they had a lot of continuity before James Harden was brought onto the team and they were actually performing well. And what happened with the Nets was, yo, let's try to get as much star power as possible. Let's try to build the greatest offense that we can by the playoff time, because they built around James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie. Injuries started happening. Players weren't able to play games. And now I'm looking at the Suns roster. They're building around Bradley Beal. They're building around the same Kevin Durant. And then they traded Deandre Ayton for an injury-prone center and Yusuf Nurkic.
That'd be a great point if, unfortunately, the Harden situation, the Nets situation isn't a weird one. And granted, y'all gonna call this Mickey, but the context is quite literally that Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving, quite literally injuries as well. And also, like Kyrie Irving literally, for example, just because y'all don't think I'm slandering Kyrie when I say this, Kyrie just randomly just like wasn't fucking with shit. He just wasn't fucking with it. They were apparently disgruntled in the locker room, unless I'm mistaken, and that's a year after. But I wanted to say he wasn't rocking with how Harden was moving, then let alone Harden got hurt. But prior to that, they were balling. They were 100% balling. They pushed the Bucks to 7, I want to say. And that was with Harden on one leg. Kyrie wasn't playing. And they still got the 7 games against the guys that eventually won the championship. I think if in this situation, Bradley Beal hasn't shown any reason to just not like basketball, not want to play basketball, I haven't seen that from Kevin Durant this entire time. And I haven't seen that from, who's the third guy? Devin Booker, remotely. If anything, people get on Devin Booker for talking too much shit because he loves basketball that much. So I think it's a different situation here. But I see what you're going for. But then again, if the Suns were letting Devin Booker, and let's say it wouldn't be DA here, if the Suns are letting Devin Booker and KD run their front office, then I'm with you. It'd be a parallel to the Nets. But I think this situation is vastly different.
Even if you look at, and you can compare another team that made a drastic move for a star player, gutted their team in the middle of the season, look at how the Mavericks roster is looking compared to how the Suns roster is looking. Both these teams gutted their rosters to get guys from the same exact team to try to help their young star propel and try to build around them. Look at what both those teams did this offseason. This offseason, the Suns have moved tremendously better and definitely put way better talent around their core group of guys than the Mavs did. If you look at the Mavs, they added Grant Williams, they drafted Derek Lively, and who else is on the Mavericks? Who else is over there?
They got Jaden, right? They got
Jaden Hardy.
Yeah, they got Jaden Hardy.
No, they didn't add him. They had him before. But in terms of getting guys to add to this, because again, you gutted your team. Both these teams gutted their teams. You seen the Suns in the playoffs, and it was like, all right, this is kind of an asterisk because these motherfuckers traded half their team to go get Kevin Durant. With the Mavs, they traded half their team to go get Kyrie. So what are you going to do this offseason to load up after doing that? The Suns loaded up. They got players for each position. They got depth. They got plenty of. I just looked at the roster. Plenty of fucking forwards, combo forwards, power forwards, tweener, center, power forwards. They got plenty of forwards. They got guard depth. They put guys behind their stars. So even if a guy like Nurkic, who I don't want to say injury prone or injury problems, looking at his recent playing history, anybody that can give you damn near 2/3 of the season played and didn't make the playoffs, I can't say has injury history. And really, only times in his career was 2 seasons out of the last, he's played 7, 8, and only 2 of them really was glaring injury problems. Well, the second season in his career. But I'm not going to say he's injury prone yet. But still, even with that, you still added other guys too. So I can't be too mad at the Suns or say they're doing what the Nets did. With the Nets, it was genuinely, okay, you got Kyrie, you got Harden, you got KD, and you got let's keep it a buck with them. Like who else was on those Nets teams after they traded for James Harden?
They had Nick Claxton. I think did they still have Bruce Brown? I think they did, right?
At one point, yeah.
You talking about that one season before Harden? Yeah, they had some time.
No, when they got Harden.
No, when they got Harden.
He's talking about Joe Harris, Bruce Brown, Blake Griffin, Landry Shamet, Nick Claxton, Tyler Johnson, Jeff Green, Mike James, Chris Chioza was playing.
And that was post Harden trade?
That's
a lot of good pieces.
That's what I was saying.
There's no way
you're
saying that's a lot of good pieces. And
Joe Harris, Nick Claxton, and
Joe Harris was a bum that year. Go look at what Joe Harris did. He was a bum. He was a bum that year.
Okay, so let me ask.
Bruce Brown emerged. That's fine. But if you're going to sit there and say the Suns is an L with the talent they have, but you hear that Nets roster, you're like, well, that's some good names. Just say you're biased towards the Suns, or you don't like Kevin Durant, or you don't like Bradley Beal, because that's crazy.
Yeah, because Landry Shamet was.
Joe Harris was cool that year. What are we talking about?
Joe Harris was awful in the playoffs.
In 2021?
Joe Harris in the playoffs in 2021 averaged 11 points on 10 shots, and the 3-point percentage was 40. Take that what you want.
It looks like Joe Harris being hilarious. I don't know.
But you're talking about one series that made that stage, and that was after Kyrie went down and what's his name went down as well.
In the regular season, to be fair, Joe Harris was playing rather well, but
in that Celtics series, he played good as well. And then the next series where he had to, I'm looking at it right now. And the next series where he had to step up because 2 guards went down. I mean, it was him playing out of like a role that he could really play. So,
21?
Yeah, we're talking about 21.
Yeah, in Boston, he went on to. Because I am not a person that just hides facts. Joe Harris actually was bowling the fuck out in Boston. Yeah. Balling the fuck out in Boston, averaged 13 on.
It was just that one series where they were like he disappeared, but literally it was.
I'm not gonna lie, that whole Nets team was cooking us in that first round. It was their season ended that second round, so it is literally based off of one series, any playoff deficiencies. So I do want to ask Damo because he was talking about the Suns' depth. Are you saying that they have good depth from the perspective of like just period point blank? Or they have good depth for a team that has no cap space to work with type shit?
For a team that was in that situation after they made those moves, my whole thing was, you got the names, but what are you going to do to fill out the rest of your roster? And I did not think they were going to be able to do anything unless they traded DA for some type of depth. They already were they had me like, before they made this deal. And it was like, okay, let's just see how it works. After making this deal, I feel like they have viable options at each position. Like after you go from a starter, the backup player outside of, again, the point guard position is the only position where it's like, all right, they don't have a guard, but at the same time, shit, you can stagger the minutes of Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, and both of those guys can be your ones. And it's no issue with that because they're both good playmakers. They're not bad playmakers. They're both underrated playmakers.
Can I get back to my original point?
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I think we're well far off from my original point at this point in time. So there's teams in the league that constantly get lottery picks, whether it be in the past 3 years or hell, even if we're looking at like a 10-year scope, that I've seen mismanage like a lot of their fucking assets. And a lot of the guys on their team don't last, more than maybe 4 years, 5 years. And I don't personally believe it's because some of them are bad. Some of them could be bad, just NBA players or whatever the case may be. Everybody isn't working. But I think it's a fit thing. And so you drafted DA over Luka Doncic, over Trae Young, over whoever else was in this draft. And then you hire Monty and bring in Chris Paul and essentially establish a system of like a pick and roll big. But the allure of DA wasn't that he was just a pick and roll big. If you were really managing your assets, I personally thought I would have gotten rid of that player a long time ago to get up more assets. And you can say, sure, they didn't need to. They got a finals appearance, et cetera, et cetera. But we can also say that they definitely held on to that guy for way too long. And I understand that you say it's over a course of like 2 different management groups. But when one management group comes in to replace another management group, is because one got fired because they weren't doing a job. They had a path, they had a direction that they were going in that wasn't clearly working. So what happens quite often, and this is just, working at jobs, is that the other one is brought in because the ownership group or whoever else wants to see you go in a total different direction. Hey, we're not working building this way. We're going to go building this way. Now, it's a conversation about owners and personalities and stuff like that. But I just know that there's a bunch of teams who mismanage assets, and I would mark the Suns to be one of those teams. They made a couple good decisions over those years that I'm talking about, but overall, like, these niggas have squandered picks, like, truly.
I'm about to say, if you want to say in a vacuum, the trade wasn't an L for the Suns, that's fine. But I don't know. I'm just looking at how the Suns have been managing their whole team, and I'm just not a fan of it. You know what I'm saying? I've never been a fan of the whole, especially in today's era, the whole stacking the deck for like a bunch of stars and minimal depth. You know. But.
So y'all figured that they were getting adequate like trade compensation for Deandre Ayton? Like, teams were calling and offering viable deals for Deandre Ayton over the course of the last 2 years? Or do you think this was a situation where they finally got a deal where they felt it was worth getting rid of Deandre Ayton and it made sense?
I can't say who was calling or whatever the case may be last year, even if that's how they searched it. But what I can say is his perceived value a couple years ago was higher than his perceived value is yesterday, or whatever the case.
Based off what?
Based off of who he is as a player. And you could say he's gotten better over the years, but more importantly, how the public views the interaction in public. But, you know, sometimes the people that are in these other leadership positions in office are just as much public as we are. But how they perceive his interaction with Suns ownership, management, and coaching staff is. So you might be balling, but when I visibly see you arguing with your coaches more than 2 times in, like, not just regular season basketball games, but playoff basketball games, you got a troublemaker on your hands. But I know you're willing to get up off that dude for pennies on a dollar.
But who's relaying the message that, like, I'm trying to figure out with the public perception, how do we know how do you know that his value was so much higher 2 years ago? I'm trying to figure out, if we're not going to say that, if you have no way of knowing that teams are trying to give viable deals or viable trade compensation to get DA 2 years ago, because for the last 2 years everybody was saying he needed to be traded. How do we know that this wasn't finally a situation where you finally got value worth trading them? Because if you trade them for pennies on a dollar, you're going to look crazy. And then we have situations where the public, we view a player as having X amount of value, whatever, then he gets traded and you're like, well, damn, y'all traded him for 2 role players and 4 second-round picks. That's it? Or another guy gets traded and you're like, damn, he's worth that much. They traded for, when Rudy Gobert got traded, I was like, I did not think Rudy was worth that fucking much, but shit, I guess he is. But that's public perception. So how do we know over the last 2 years teams were genuinely giving the Suns something worth trading for last year or the year before that?
We'll never know, we'll never know that they didn't. But what I can say, just based off of what I've seen, and I don't think anybody can argue this, we saw them arguing on the bench multiple times, I think in multiple playoff games as well. Snippets post-game, post-elimination, not going to the end of season press conference, et cetera, which usually is a sign of a disgruntled star. And when asking other stars on the team or players on the team about said star, there's been cryptic messages. So that sounds like some disgruntled locker room shit, right? Which at that point, I think a lot of people would say, hey, you know what? I think that there's a problem there. You might be willing to get off of this dude for less than you were before. That's what I would think.
I don't know. I struggle with the overall, and maybe that specific point is valid. I just struggle with the overall message that they didn't convert well here and probably made their team more promising in the future.
That's the Laura.
Good shot, yes, not the Lord.
Mind you, that's not my point. That's not my point.
All right. Yeah, I'm about to say they literally got Yusuf Nurkic, and if their biggest competition for like the entire West is Nikola Jokic, I'm not saying by any means will Nurkic be able to guard him. But if you're gonna go from DA to Nurk, as well as pick up a guy like Grayson Allen, as well as pick up a guy like Nasir Little, at the floor, if you think DA is Himothy against guarding Jokic, which is just factually incorrect, I don't think that's anywhere near a downgrade. I'd argue that's a straight up upgrade. But
I just feel like for their expectations, there's a lot of there's too many ifs for a championship caliber. Like, we want a championship this next season type of team. With how is D Book and Bradley Beal gonna be at point? Can Kevin Durant be a good to great defender for them? Is Nurkic gonna be healthy for them? Is Def gonna be like? There's so many like ifs, bro, for a team that really wants to gun for a championship. It's like, Jesus.
That's ifs for. I guess my biggest problem.
But that's a lot, bro.
I guess my biggest problem with my stance is I'm not trying to be a Twitch chatter or anything like that. And I promise you, this isn't a Laker fan thing coming out. But my problem is you're like the complete. You're a fan of a team that's like the complete seesaw inverse of the situation, and both of you are probably in the same amount of question marks. Like Boston is a team that has done nothing but for the past 10 years, arguably, reserve the idea of picks are too valuable, of the idea that our co-stars too valuable, our role players too valuable, and as a result, we're going to do nothing. And you've rounded up in the same exact spots for almost a decade. So I just don't see how you see it this way, because the same questions, even for your team coming into the season, is going to be, all right, can KP really bang down with Giannis? Because I get he's tall, but this ain't 2K. Giannis might really form and either, God forbid, truly, but though, hurt him. If not, just move around him because he can't keep up with him. Like, you're going to have to play the game so methodical where Al Horford's going to have to pick him up, and you're going to pray for KP blindside blocks. I don't know how
is Rob Williams not on their team no more?
Rob Williams on their team, but Rob Williams is another motherfucker who's never there. So like that's like, I can't bring that up. If he's healthy, that's the second question right then and there. Third question. Is Point Tatum going to be your most valuable thing? Because I can see a lineup where Point Tatum is probably bringing out the best of Boston, but is he truly at that level where, hey, can Tatum run point? Or are we still going to have to run Marco Brogdon when people 1 minute love him and the next minute 8? So there's hella questions with Boston as well, and they've been the exact opposite in the situation of, hey, we're going to stand pack, we're going to keep our drafted players, we draft relatively well, but we're not going to force anything, we're not going to push anything to the table, we're going to trust our drafted players. So I just think there's definitely a medium there. I think the teams that have accomplished it have definitely accomplished said medium, but it's just hard for me to think that like you on the opposite end just don't see the vision in any way, shape, or form, especially when I'm looking at the Suns roster and I'm like, it's truly not that bad. They're probably like a good point guard away, maybe a good perimeter defender away, because no defense is insane, but they're probably one asset away from being a team that I ain't gonna lie. And I think the Lakers are underrated. I think people are acting like Denver ain't probably going to pop out that bitch again. But at that point, I'm going to be like, oh, shit, Phoenix is live.
Oh, don't get it twisted. Every single thing that you said about the Celtics, I am concerned about. So it's not like a one-way street. I am concerned about the depth. I was concerned about Kristaps Porzingis' health as we got him. Rob's health has always been a concern. Point Tatum. Listen, there's a reason why I wanted Drew on the squad. Okay? Yeah, I also said it earlier in the stream. I am biased against the Suns. So.
There it is. But so who's your finals favorite? Who's your championship favorite going into the season? What team do you have? If you had to pick one, who do you think is going to win the ship?
If I had to pick one, Nuggets repeat.
Nuggets repeat.
And
even then, I feel like that's the safest bet on terms of a team with the least amount of ifs. But even with them, is still, I mean, the perception of them is they got worse. With the guys that they lost, losing Bruce Brown and replacing him with who? I'm trying to think. Hoping Charlie Brown fucking develops.
Who did they get? I forgot. Who did they get?
Did they get anyone?
They got somebody.
Paul Watson. Paul Watson. What you call it? Niggas was talking about Paul Watson. Who the fuck is Paul Watson? But that's who Nuggets. If you ask Swiper, yo, Paul Watson is about to fucking pop off. Like, all right, buddy. If Paul Watson pops off, I guess.
Reggie Jackson. They got Reggie. They got Justin Holiday.
Yeah, if Reggie Jackson. No, they got Reggie Jackson last year.
They've been had Reggie. Shit.
Yeah, they've been had Reggie Jackson.
So Justin then.
Yeah, if Justin fucking Holiday is the guy that puts them over the edge. Like, outside of that, they lost Christian Brown, and they're going to hope that the rest of their guys just stay a course. So that's the safest. Oh, they got J Huff on the two-way? I ain't gonna lie, they're my favorite. Not gonna lie.
Nah, you're sick.
I fuck with J Huff. You know how, hey man, the streets know how I feel about
You've been fucking with J Huff.
I think also it comes with the prediction that I have for like the Suns' inevitable type shit. Like, I have them as a second round exit. Like, I'm gonna be honest, and if they make it to the conference finals, it's gonna be an overachievement type shit. So I'm looking at all of this investment that they're making for them to peak at a second round exit. I just think it's like,
I think niggas might kill us if we don't note that Damo was like Nurkic injury, because isn't that what you just said? Nurkic health. What are we questioning Nurkic's health for?
I'm saying, who is questioning Nurkic's health?
I think everybody is. If you let Sage slide with Rob Williams, then I'm gonna have to challenge you on saying niggas ain't questioning Nurkic's health.
Sage's point was Rob Williams isn't there. What are you talking about?
Yeah, my point was that Boston guys question
Like
marks too. I don't.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying if you're not gonna question Nurkic's health, then and let Sage slide with his, then that's disingenuous. This nigga Nurkic hasn't played 60 games in 4 seasons, dog.
Okay, so what? Let me ask you, what is 2/3 of 82?
It can be 50 something, but that doesn't matter. He hasn't played
56.
Yeah, that's perfectly
if you can
fine.
Give me two,
Okay,
and I said this earlier, but hold on. I said it earlier. Me personally, if you can give me if a player is giving me 2/3 of the season, especially if his team didn't go to the playoffs, I'm not about to sit there and question his health. You play 2/3 of an 82 game season. I'm not mad at that.
Damo, that's fine. He did that one time in the last 4 seasons.
In the last 4 seasons, he did that one time. Cool. Before that, how many times did he do it? How many times did he do it before that? And I acknowledge that. Before this, he had 2 seasons where he definitely was hurt, but before that, he was relatively healthy.
Damo, and you did that because you
that.
No, you looking at it.
I acknowledged it.
He did 52, 56.
I acknowledge that, Omar.
Sage, are you looking at him though? Are you looking at him?
I've been at it because I was confused.
I've been looking at it, and I said
no, because you said okay. If you're gonna talk, it's fine. It's fine.
You're not listening. You're just waiting to talk. I'm
listening to you.
2/3 of the season. He had 2 seasons where he genuinely did not play a lot, and he had one other season which was his second year where he didn't play a lot. Other than that, he played relatively 2/3 of the season. What the fuck are we talking about?
Relatively, Damo.
Relatively 2/3.
Right, I can't talk. Fuck it. It's cool.
What are we doing?
It's cool.
Okay, thank you, chat. Because niggas in the chat are saying I said it, so obviously it was heard.
It's cool. It's fine. It's fine. I can't say nothing in no way, so it doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter. Niggas don't even know if I want to be right or not right or what I'm gonna say because I can't say nothing.
Being right or not right, you're just not listening, and it's fine. If you're not listening,
I haven't said anything. I could be acknowledging that.
There's nothing to say.
I could literally be acknowledging that you're right.
You call me disingenuous about what Sage said when you're wrong about what Sage said. I don't even know how I'm being disingenuous about that. I'm being disingenuous about.
That's fine, bro. If I can't talk, that's fine. We can keep it going. That's fine.
Damn, man. What's up with the drama on this podcast lately, dog?
I was finna say the nigga I was finna say the nigga was right, but it don't matter. I can't even get it off. It truly don't matter at this point. Jesus. Okay.
For context, chat, 2/3 is 54 games.
Oh my God. Peter B with the 20 gifted. Why can't we?
Peter B with the 1/3 of the season right there.
Holy shit. Shout to Peter, man. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now at 1,200 subs.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I do the same shit in my stream. If you ain't got a sub at this point, LRNG.
Yeah, that's on you. That's just because you're not there.
Let me just get this stat out just for those watching that can put 2/3. A number 2 at 2/3 would be roughly 54, 55-ish games. It's literally a decimal. So 54 to 5 games. Nurkic has played in the past 2 seasons 56 and 52. Prior to, he had 37 and 8. Obviously, significant injuries. If we're comparing to Robert Williams, he has one of 35, the other of 61. So whatever side that helps you with.
Yo, this poll is nasty, bro. Is Omar gaslighting?
I know. And I couldn't even say anything. That's a crazy poll. The fact that I could not even say anything.
That's
Jesus Christ.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy. You think he was gaslighting?
I couldn't even say anything. Nobody knows what my point is.
Listen, man, you got the floor now, man.
No, I can't. I promise you, I'm not gonna start just to get cut off. If this is the way they argue on Players' Choice, I don't know how they get anything done over there. This is absolutely crazy.
Dang.
I don't know. This is
say all that.
I ain't say all that either.
I'm saying all that. That's what I'm saying.
Shit.
I
kind of respect what they got going on over there. I ain't gonna lie.
I do too. Listen, skipping Stephen A works for so many years.
Oh my.